I wish you luck, and
I don't.
Wow.
I really don't. I don't wish luck to racists.
Oh, I'm not racist.
Yes, you are. Yes, you are, Nick.
Yeah, I am a little bit
Yeah,
racist.
I know.
But listen, but it's not because I hate people.
No, we didn't. You don't believe in race mixing.
Yeah.
Okay, you wanna?
Yeah, I mean, well, what do you think? Are you pro race mixing? What's your feelings?
I don't have a problem with
You
it.
just don't really care.
Yeah, I mean, like I've dated people of another race before. It's it's fine. I mean, it didn't work out, but
Yeah.
I don't have a problem with it. No.
Yeah, I mean, for me,
you said you're mixed.
well, I didn't say that. I said I'm Mexican, Italian, and Irish.
Yeah, so that's mixed.
I mean, like kind of. Some would say
you're mixed.
But here's the thing, and this is what people, my black folks, he still considered himself white because of his skin tone. He's passable. Mm-hmm. Y'all still be letting these non-ethnic looking women in the space that will claim they're Spanish, but has a whole white man. You'll still let these folks in the space, and they're considering themselves white still. So a lot of people was like, Fuentes, he's Spanish. Da, da, da.
That's what I was thinking.
He considers himself white. A lot of Spanish people that are white passing or very pale consider themselves white. Y'all need to know who you around. Why y'all keep keying with the and she's acting like a white woman and will Karen your up too.
Nick Fuentes said he's Italian. So if he's mixed with all those things, but Fuentes, that is clearly not Italian.
Yeah, some would say no. Because my dad's like half Mexican, and, Mexican's not really like a whole other race. So.
What do you mean it's not a whole other race?
I mean, because Mexicans are definitely like closer to white people than like black people, for instance.
Okay.
Chinese people.
Okay.
Because a lot of Hispanics have white DNA. Well, I love people. It's just race is real. Race is real. Race is a part of us. So, hey, it is what it is.
And the Italians, we do not claim you.
Oh, hey, the Italians don't claim you. You're the one dating a black guy. The Italians don't claim me. They don't claim you.
Oh, no, they claim me. They claim me.
I don't think so.
They do.
Italian guys, yeah. Tell an Italian guy about your affinity for black guys. That'll go over real well.
Good one, Nick.
Maybe some brajol. There's some Italian.
No,
for
but
you.
I will make my black boyfriend some of that.
Ugh, wow. You don't know any better.
Okay, so I used to work in sales. I used to sell copiers. And that was a horrible job. I hated it. I had to quit that job. But I just wanted to say thank you to all the crazy women on this app. All the beautiful, majestic creatures. All of the, baby mothers. All of the ones talking, whatever. Thank you for giving me a job. Because I hated selling copiers. And now I get to talk about you guys for a living. So thank you so much.
That Christian Fam.
What's up, y'all? This is Jermaine from That Christian Fam, one half of That Christian Fam, and I'm looking forward to diving into this video today. The clips that you just saw were by a young lady by the name of Justpearly. Well, she goes by the name of Justpearlythings on YouTube and her other social media platforms, but her real name is Hanah. And this 27-year-old woman, let me give you a little backstory. She has a huge platform with almost or over 1.37 million subscribers on YouTube alone, not including the millions of fans or the millions of followers that she has on TikTok. She comes from a very wealthy family. Her father is rich. All right. So I'm just giving y'all a little background. And again, y'all, I'm just giving y'all context. She had a gentleman on her show, again, over in England. She flew him out there, or some would say he got flued out. by the name of Nick Fuentes. Now, the thing about Nick Fuentes is that he is a known racist. He is a self-proclaimed racist and white supremacist. But she was so infatuated with I guess, you know, that old adage of curiosity kills the cat. Well, in this case, it killed the cat because she was so hell-bent on finding out more and more about this gentleman. Why is he on the no-fly list? Why is he being banned in certain platforms? And so she was like, hey, let me go ahead and have him on my platform. Now I'm going to dive into that situation later in the video. The second clip I played was Pearly saying thank you to the members of the Black community. And I would say that with all confidence because by and large, the majority of people that she has on her show are people who are melanated. And she gets on there and makes a video saying, thank you to all the beautiful, majestic creatures, all the baby mamas talking their ish. Thank you because I used to sell copiers for a living and now y'all have basically made me rich. I get to talk about y'all for a living. What did I tell y'all? Listen, history repeats itself. People have made millions and billions of dollars off of the dissension of Black people for the better part of a century. This whole baby mama drama issue that has plagued the Black demographic, I don't need no man, or I refuse to submit, that has plagued our demographic within this country for a very, very long time. Now, to a lesser degree, it happens in her demographic, but by and large, it doesn't happen nearly at the rate that it does in our community. It doesn't plague her community like it does ours. So she can talk about the dissension and discuss the dissension within our community. And you know what she's saying? She's telling you, keep it going because I love making money off of your dissension. And at the end of the day, at 26 years old, she could eventually get married and just skip her happy behind off into the sunset with more than likely her white husband and never bat an eye because it does not affect her like it does us over here. I have a vested interest in the whole dissension between the Black man and the Black woman. Why? Because we have 2 Black boys and a Black girl that we are raising. And if we don't get this thing under control, you're going to have our 2 boys chucking deuces to the women who are over here stateside and saying, you know what, I'm getting my passport, daddy, and I'm gone. And for our beautiful daughter, you'll have men who won't even look her direction when it's time for marriage because Black women are the least desired when it comes to marriage. So we have a vested interest in fixing things over here. I understand, Pearly. I understand, Hanah. You want to make your buck and make your millions off the backs of Black folk. But that's not what we about over here. And for all the folks who is like, wait a minute, I don't understand. I thought this is a Christian channel. We're going to drop some scripture, but you have to understand, this is that Christian fam. We talk about topics that are relevant within the time, and we view it through the lenses of scripture. But I will always hold someone accountable when I see them come over to our demographic, pimp us out, and try to pivot once they done made their money off the dissension that goes down in our demographic. Now let's fast forward a little bit. She has made an apology video because she knows she messed up. Let's get into the video.
What up, guys? Welcome to the Justpearlythings YouTube channel and welcome to Morning Coffee Thoughts, where I give my thoughts over morning coffee. Today I have a chai tea. I quit coffee. You guys don't care about what I'm drinking. Okay. Today, I'm going to be addressing the Nick Fuentes situation.
Now, see, y'all can see right off rip, she's very nervous because she knows she messed up. And that's a good sign because that shows some spirit of contrition. That shows that she has some level-headed thinking. And again, it shows that she realizes that she messed up.
Yeah, I know why you guys are here. Okay. So I want to first say I take full accountability for everything that happened. Everything that happens in life, as I say to the girls on my show, is my own fault. The fact that people are making these videos is my own fault. And the situation that I'm in is my own fault. Now I'm going to give you guys an explanation and give you guys context for some of the conversations that were had. Just know it's not an excuse. It's my own fault. I take full accountability for everything that happened. Okay. So, but I'm going to answer questions that people have brought my way. So the first thing is, why did you have Nick on? The reasoning behind having Nick Fuentes on was because I heard that he was on the no-fly list and he lost his bank account. Now, from your point of view, you would think, why would you invite someone on that's on the no-fly list, right? That would be a bad. Well, he's not anymore. That's how he flew, but he was. So I was more just curious why this man was banned on everything. Now, I've seen a lot of videos that say I play dumb or I'm playing dumb, and I'll tell you what I knew and what I didn't know. So I did know that he was a known racist. I did know he was a known sexist. I did know that basically every bad name in the book from the right and the left, everyone hated him. So the reason I had him on was because, guys, people say that stuff about me. They say.
So wait a minute. You knew he was a known racist. You knew he was on the no-fly list, and you knew he was a misogynist. But you still chose to have this man on your platform. I don't understand it. Like, and then your justification is, well, people say bad things about me and yada yada. But you know those things are not true because you are you. You knew this man was a bad seed before you even had him on your platform. Again, understand how bad this is. You have a platform with over 1.37 million subscribers. What you could have did is you could have picked up the phone and talked to him. If you're that infatuated and if you're that curious, again, curiosity killed the cat. If you want to know so bad, you could have picked up the horn and said, hey, what's going on? What's the skinny on it? Or you could have talked to some people around him. They could have told you exactly what this man is like. But you chose to have him on this huge platform that you have developed. And what that does is that does nothing but bolster his platform, gives him a larger voice to spew out this hatred, this foolery, these divisive conversations that we're having just to have them, meaning there's no end game. There's no, hey, we're trying to make him see things differently. Hey, we're trying to deconvert him from his thoughts or his philosophies when it comes to race. But you didn't do that. You just sat there with a smile on your face, looking very uncomfortable, by the way, while the Italian girl that came on the show as well, she spit it like it was supposed to be spit and said, I don't wish you well because you're a racist. You could have said at least that, Pearly, but you sat back and said nothing. No, matter of fact, you did say something. You said, I wish you luck. And y'all, to give you further context, Kevin Samuels died last year in 2022, all right? In the spring or late spring of 2022, I believe. All right. And it seems like at that point, that's when her platform really started to take off. She basically copies all the talking points of Kevin Samuels and other people within our space and puts it on her platform. And because she looks how she looks and is saying the things that she says, people are just drawn to it. Oh, we have a white girl saying this. Yes. Y'all, again, if you know me, you know me. I am not racist at all. I am not. But when I first saw her over in our demographic, talking to people who look like us and talking about our issues that we struggle with, and if we don't fix, it's going to lead to our demise or has led to our demise. When I saw her over here, I'm like, wait a minute, hold up. Who let her in? Why is she here? What vested interest does she have in these talking points? Or does she just get these talking points just to get an audience?
Like, there are people who are having the mating and dating conversation because they want to see true reconciliation between Black people. And then there are people who are having the conversation because if they highlight the dysfunction, they can get explosive growth. So I think it's being honest and identifying who is who. Now, there are black people who do the latter, and we might give those black people a pass. But white people, there's such a distance from our community that even if they are well-intended, there's just nuances and contours that they do not understand. And the relationship is so fragile between black men and black women that we should never have someone else, because it would be like, if there was a white man who had a platform that was booming and he was creating Cynthia G content about, black men, like we would be like, no, that's out of bounds. But why are we okay with it on the other side?
As Rollo or Rolo, however you pronounce his name, that white man said he refuses to work with her and considers her a hack.
I'm sexist. They say I'm a misogynist. And, I really just like to give people the benefit of the doubt.
I'm great. Believe them. They know themselves much better than you do. Those of us who don't trust life say, don't say a thing like that. You're not really crazy. And as soon as you say that, the person...
When I interview them, I don't go into interviews trying to interrogate someone. I just more try to listen and see where they're coming from. In hindsight, that wasn't smart. And in hindsight, I should have had someone, maybe Sarah Garvey, maybe another content creator that could have pushed back more and really was more educated on the topics that he was talking about than I was, because I certainly was not an expert in any of the stuff that he was talking about. I did remove the interview. I, again, did not think through a lot of the repercussions of posting that, so I just removed it. If you do want to see the full interview, Obsidian did react to it. That's on his channel. The intention was not, I guess, to hide it. It was just, this might not have been the best move. I'm just going to remove it now. So again, racism has no place in society, and I do take accountability for bringing him on. Hindsight's always 20/20. I wrote down some of the complaints that people had. So if I look this way, it's just because I made bullet points of everyone's concerns, and I'm just addressing them. Okay. My Africans, that part. So in the heat of the conversation, I made some remarks to my producer, Blessing. Now, Blessing is a godsend. Okay, Blessing has made the production quality literally phenomenal. He's so talented. And during this conversation, we were talking about immigration, and I said, I'm trying to get my Africans to America. Now, I watched it back, guys. It was so cringy. Oh my gosh, it was so embarrassing. I meant my African employees. I just said Africans. The reason is because, like, why wouldn't you just say my employees or whatever to America? The African passport system is just more difficult than the UK one. I didn't know, like, Blessing had to go to the embassy or something to apply to go to America with me next month. We're going to go do some work there. And and so I've just found that the immigration process is a bit more difficult. So that's why I referred to them, because my African employees, I needed more help with. And, I was saying in the interview that I wanted more open border policies because I wanted them to come. Again, I really respect the African culture. I had no ill will or malice towards any of that. But it sounded absolutely awful. It was so cringy watching back. So it was stupid. It was stupid. Okay. Now let's talk about my Africans was the other one. And then, the joke about Blessing being late. So one thing that they cut out from that clip was that Nick Fuentes did say after, I'm just giving you a hard time. I'm just kidding. Okay. Now, even so, it was still in poor taste. And
what does it matter if he was just kidding? This is a known racist, and he's a white supremacist. And he said, I was just giving you a hard time. If that's coming from somebody who is a comrade, somebody who you have trust in, cool. But this is coming from a white supremacist. So for him to say, I'm just giving you a hard time, how do you think he's going to take that? How do you think he's going to take it? He should take that to heart, because it's coming from a person who says, hey, listen, you black guy over there, I don't like you, or I'm racist. Anybody who says they're racist, again, you need to look at them with a raised eyebrow, because they are not to be trusted.
Think about at the time was sorry, for those that didn't see it, basically Nick Fuentes was talking about he's always late. And I said, you were on time today. Oh, Blessing was the one that's late. And it's sort of an inside joke here at Justpearlythings. Like Blessing's just, he's phenomenal, but he's a late guy. And every time he comes in, he says African time. Now, Pearl, me. So when I was referring to him during this joke, I was like, African. Now, I was saying African time, referring to what he says when he comes in. Now, what I realized is this was especially disrespectful because we did have someone that's a known white supremacist race. Like, you know, making that joke in front of him, with him, is just in poor taste. And I did apologize to him for it. I really had no malice or ill will. But, you know, stupid. It was just stupid. Okay.
Yeah, it was stupid. Again, you have a mostly almost all black staff. And again, you're talking to and about black talking points or things that dramatically affect our demographic. And I don't say community because we lost community a long time ago. But how insensitive is that to say, you know what, I'm going to invite a known racist and white supremacist onto my platform that I have built off the back of black folk, talking about black talking points in a mostly black staff. But I'm going to bring a white supremacist into the studio and we can just go and chop it up and then kiki. Come on now.
The next thing is, I've gotten a lot of criticism for, you know, using the black culture and then I'm going right and leaving it, like that sort of thing. You can correct me in the comments if I'm wrong, but that seems to be a big point of contention.
Yep.
My intention was never to be, you know, quote unquote leader in the black manosphere or the manosphere in general. I really have always just looked at the men as the leader. I mean, they're the thought leaders. Let's just be honest. And me, I try to support them in any way I can. I bring them on my show, but saying I'm a leader in the space, you know, I feel like women follow, men lead. So I really think, yeah, that's just my opinion.
You know what? You're right. You're not a leader. You just have a big platform. And since we're talking about black talking points and you basically are parroting everything that Kevin Samuels said, one of the things that we talk about over in our demographic is getting married early and actually prioritizing being married over career. She's a 26-year-old white woman who is not married, not looking to get married anytime in the future, or at least not to our knowledge. All right. But I think MTR has already pulled her aside or actually had conversations with her. And MTR meaning mediocre tutorial reviews. That gentleman has a huge platform with almost 600,000 subscribers. He's on YouTube. Y'all can find him. I'm not saying everything he talks about is Christian, but he does make some good points on that channel. But he has told her, he said, you know what, the thing that the problem you're going to run into is the thing that you're preaching, you're not following. Meaning you preach husband is a priority. You preach that the women should prioritize getting married and having kids and put their family over their careers. But you're not doing that, Pearly. You're not doing that. You have a huge platform that you have made millions off the backs of black folks. I'm going to keep saying that. And let's keep it a stack. Your father is rich. You come from money. So it doesn't mean anything to you if we ever get our problems fixed on this side, because you've profited and will continue to profit off of our dissension. But we can't give her a pass just because she's white. We hold black women accountable for the same thing that Pearly is doing. But again, it really doesn't mean anything to me whether she gets married or prioritizes marriage or not. You know why? Because she's not over her. We got our own problems to worry about. We got millions and millions of black women to worry about when it comes to the issue of marriage.
But I always find it weird when women who have not been in the position of a marriage or a divorce to really try to give out this advice that they don't have any experience to draw from.
None. And like truly, and it's not even like, like, I don't know what research she does, because she backs her stuff up with research, I think. I mean, again, I don't watch her videos, but she's such in this red pill content that I think she just looks up, she researches that type of mindset, and it's just reiterated and like she just repeats it, and so she like knows what she's talking about, quote unquote. Like, it's just ideas of these other red pill content creators.
Now, the other thing was the demographic of the women on my show. Guys, I haven't done recruiting in months. So when I started, I never expected it to blow up this fast. I never in my life thought I'd have 1 million subscribers in a year. I wrote my goals for the year before and it was 100,000. I thought I'd maybe get 100K by the end of the year. Okay, that's what I thought. Now, everything blew up so.
See, this is what I don't like. This whole thing where I'm not going to take accountability. It's your show. It's your show. Even though you say, "Oh, I'm not in charge of recruiting," it's your show. At the end of the day, you can see what's going down, and you can say, "You know what? Let's get some different faces on here, or let's talk about some other things. Let's talk about what's going on in my demographic. Let's get some other talking points other than talking about the dissension within the Black community." But you didn't do that. I don't care if you're in charge of recruiting or not. Pearly, it's your show. It's your show.
I think one reason that there have been so many Black people on the show is because the recruiter that I picked was Nigerian. And he just had the type of job that he could recruit while he went on the job. And he knew a lot of people. He was already in the podcast space. So he was just a good recruiter. So it makes sense that he knows more Nigerian women.
But again, you can control that, Pearly.
Okay.
Come on, don't pass the book.
The next part. Now, this was the part that was probably the dumbest part of the whole interview. This was the stupidest, the dumbest. Oh, this was stupid. So I said that slavery was embellished in the interview. Now, that not only is that comment insensitive, it's not accurate. There were things in slavery that were worse than what was shown on TV. What I was referring to, I don't even want to tell you guys what I was trying to say because it wasn't what came out and it doesn't even matter. Again, if you watch the full thing, I was more referring to the system of using atrocities to control people. That's what I was trying to say. But to say that it wasn't, that it was embellished is, oh gosh, so stupid. So stupid, insensitive. And nor am I, sure, I've read a couple books, but I'm not informed or qualified enough to really have that conversation. So not bringing someone else onto the show, again, stupid. Now, the next thing is that
Now, look, if you're going to talk about the man being inaccurate, you could at least get the man's name right. You don't know the man's name. His name was Alex Haley. And yes, we understand that Roots was not a true story. It was a depiction, a light depiction, I would like to add, of what really went down in slavery. In this interview with Nick Fuentes, she went on to say, hey, there was a story of a farmer that she never cites her source. You know what? This guy, he loved the slaves and he felt like it was his responsibility to keep them in slavery, because if he let them go, where would they go? What would they do? Got it. Understand. But trust and believe, that was not what was happening by and large. And I've never read in any books or ever heard anybody say that that is what happened with slave owners. Slave owners, I'm going to tell you what would have happened with slave owners. If you would have crawled yourself back to the slave owner after being liberated from slavery, they would have enslaved you again. Slavery isn't embellished. It was a long and very, very real part of reality. From the lynchings to the shootings, to the dogs being sicked on them, to the knives, to the men who were sodomized, to the women who had to watch their husbands, their brothers, their uncles, their cousins get hung from trees, and they could do nothing about it. So trust and believe that slavery is not being embellished, but it was a very, very real thing and a huge part of our history. Do we need to always bring it up in every conversation? Of course not. Don't be a fool. But we cannot have revisionist history where we basically look back at history and revise it in the way that we want to look at it and minimize the things that really went down.
Friend Gabby came on the show with him, and she's dating someone that is Black. And he would say openly racist comments to her.
And the Italians, we do not claim you.
Oh, hey, the Italians don't claim you. You're the one dating a Black guy. The Italians don't claim me. They don't claim you.
Oh, no, they claim me. They claim me.
I don't think so.
They do.
Italian guys, yeah.
Italians,
Tell an Italian guy about your affinity for Black guys. That'll go over real well.
Good one, Nick.
Maybe some Braciole. There's some Italian.
No, but I will make my Black boyfriend some of that.
Ugh, wow. You don't know any better.
Now, I should have pushed back on that. Like, I've been in interracial relationships. So for me to not push back on that, especially with all of the people that have been on my show, was stupid. It was stupid. I just, I was kind of like a deer in the headlights. I didn't know what to say. I was like, oh gosh. And the video we were watching wasn't even supposed to be about that. So I really don't have an excuse. It was just stupid. And again, I take full accountability for this stuff. And, if I had to do it over again, I would do it differently, but I can only move forward. So.
Okay, y'all, that was the gist of it. She addressed everything. But at the end of it, she talked about, hey, I'm taking full accountability. Well, here's how we hold her accountable. Do not support the Justpearlythings platform. Yes, we can forgive as we should as believers in Jesus Christ. And I'm talking to my Christians at this point. Yes, we should forgive her as we should. But that doesn't mean that we need to let her back into space. Matter of fact, let me pull up a couple scriptures. Y'all don't jump away because I know what y'all love to do. As soon as we start pulling up scriptures, y'all like, oh, I gotta go. Sit tight for a minute. When it comes to forgiveness, this is what the Bible has to say, or one of the things the Bible has to say. Let's go to Mark chapter 11, verse 25. I ain't no journalist, but y'all know what's up. It says, and whenever you stand praying, forgive if you have anything against anyone, so that your Father also who is in heaven may forgive you your trespasses, meaning your sins. So listen, y'all, Pearly has apologized. And you know what? We're called to forgive her. We should forgive her. But that doesn't mean that we have to treat her as if the offense never happened. And I say that, let me explain. You can forgive somebody who steals from a bank. You can forgive somebody who steals from a church. You can forgive a thief. But you will be a fool or foolish to make that thief a trustee in the church. If someone is a sexual predator, we can forgive them, but you should never have them over the kids' ministry. What am I saying? Yes, we can forgive Pearly for what she has done, but that doesn't mean we need to let her back in our hearts and say, you know what? Hey, she apologized. No, let's hold her accountable and not put her in the same position she was in before, which is to make a mockery out of our pain and our dissension. Let's go to another scripture. Let's go to Matthew chapter 10, verse 16, the ESV. It says, behold, I am sending you out as sheep in the midst of wolves. So be wise as serpents and innocent as doves. Exactly what I just got through saying. Listen, we know that we live in a world full of wolves. Translation, we know that we live in a world that will monopolize out of our pain, our dissension, our dysfunction, all of that. All right. But yet, God is calling us to still be compassionate to everyone. But in that compassion, we need to exercise wisdom. And that's where I want to leave it today. Y'all, I want to thank y'all for joining us for another video of That Christian Fam. Again, I appreciate the fact that Justpearly got on camera and apologized. However, I don't go into that. I'm not always over in that space. I do know enough about that space to know of her, but I haven't really looked at a whole bunch of her content. But I do understand the manosphere, or the Black manosphere, and the red pill space. I understand what's going down over there. And I would encourage y'all, if you are in taking a lot of this content, you need to do it with a grain of salt, because the way the world looks at things and the way that we as Christians, as children of God, are called to look at things are sometimes complete, and I mean complete opposite. With that being said, I'm gonna let MTR, which is the gentleman I mentioned at the beginning of this video, take us out. Thanks for watching. I hope I helped somebody on the other side of this video. And for all the trolls or anybody else, if you're offended, I really don't care.
I'm not going to beat around the bush for this conversation, and I'm going to get straight to the point. Pearl, you knowingly invited a white supremacist and a self-proclaimed racist onto a platform which is primarily supported by, at least initially, and produced by Black people. This comes across as insensitive to downright nasty. And I want to be clear, it's not just inviting said person to the conversation that's upsetting, because conversations with people who don't agree with each other or don't agree with a particular position, if done in a healthy way, can promote civil discourse. But your up was to not only not defend the people who help create the content on your platform, but to also push a narrative that is insensitive and damaging to those very same people. Pearl, you know that your staff is mostly Black people. And I'm talking about from a production perspective as well as a talent perspective. You also know that the majority of your content utilizes Black people talking about Black relationship issues. You could have had Black people sitting in the same room with this person in order to combat some of the hellacious things that were coming out of his mouth, or to have a different perspective that would have lent itself well to demonstrate the respect for the people that watch your content and that you employ. I don't think that your platform would be as big as what it is today if it wasn't for the essential utilization of Black people, Black relationship topics, and Black talent. And the talent came from all over, when you include the likes of an Andrew Tate, all the way down to a Brittany Renner. And even from a content creator perspective, from me to a Melanie King, to a Sarah Garvey, to a King Riches, to an Auntie Jenny. But as a man in this space, I got to take full ownership and full accountability. And along with my accountability, this is now my definitive stance. I can no longer support or associate myself with the Just Pearly Things platform.